Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Come in, pull up a chair. Let's talk a little bit. Today I want to go over with you guys 10 different fragrances that are hidden gems, more uncommon fragrances. So these are scents that I feel like have some either really good redeeming qualities about them or are just really, really good in general that are never, ever in a million years going to reach the level of the top dog fragrances. And whether that's because they're from a smaller fragrance house or they were just fragrance releases that, weren't massive hits, they still deserve the love. And as always, I will have these linked in the description. Feel free to check them out on there. And as always, if you shop at twistedlily.com or maxaroma.com, use the code GENTS10 for 10% off your order. If you shop at luckyscent.com, use the code GENTS2023 for 10% off. That runs through the end of June. And so Avant-Garde, the code is Ashton20 for 20% off. And today we are focusing on designer scents. And most of these are actually very inexpensive. Like the vast majority of the scents we're talking about today are cheapies. I want to kick things off with a little bit of a bonus fragrance. So this isn't one of the official top 10 of this list, but it did catch my attention and I wanted to bring it up. It's from La Maison de la Vigne. This one is called Vanille Sauvage de Madagascar. This one is cheap. As I said, most of these are. This size, 1 ounce, 30 milliliters will run you about $24 US, but you can get a 100 ml size bottle for like 10 bucks more. And essentially, this is just vanilla forward to the max. So if you want to smell like vanilla ice cream or like vanilla cake or something like that, this fragrance will help you live those dreams. Could make an interesting layering fragrance also. You could add a big vanilla blast to whatever you want with that. All right, let's kick it off officially with this guy, wow, from Joop. The fragrance most people know from Joop is probably Joop Homme, which we don't need to talk about that. That is just, you could torture people with it. Yeah, it's strong and syrupy. But this one, very good and has nothing at all in common with Joop Homme. This actually smells a little bit similar to CH Men from Carolina Herrera. So it has the same kind of complement factor of that fragrance, that wearability. It's quite cheap. It's got bergamot, cardamom, and tonka as some of the notes in the fragrance. Just a great, versatile scent that works both during the day and the evening just as well. From there, we hop on over to Karl Lagerfeld with Bois de Yuzu, another one that's cheap. Now, to an extent, do I grade some fragrances on a curve based off of their price? Well, yeah, I think everybody does. Like if you buy a fragrance and you spend 400 bucks on that bad boy and then you spray it on and it smells like cow anus, you're probably not going to be very pumped about that. Actually, I know some of you would be pumped about that. So, man, fragrances get weird. Oh, this one is a wonderful pissiness. It's just exquisite. I sprayed it on and it was just like a steaming pile of cat urine. I don't know how they did it. It's magical. Only in the fragrance world would that make sense. Anyway, yeah, grading on a curve. If you spend a ton of money on something, you get it in and the quality is not there, you're gonna be unhappy. By the same token, the flip side of that token, if you don't spend very much money, you get something in and the quality is better than you expected, then you're going to be like, hey, nice, this is a good deal. Hopefully that made sense. It was a bit rambling, but this fragrance is inexpensive. This one, obviously, based around yuzu, very citrus forward. You have mandarin orange in here, you have yuzu, bit of a woodiness as the fragrance dries down. And what this will give you is a very nice late spring and summertime fragrance that's just bright, citrusy, and easy to wear. After that, Azaro, Chrome Pure. Chrome Pure has been one of those underrated chrome releases that I've liked for quite a while, and it's kind of unique in the whole chrome lineup. Chrome Pure is clean, which you would expect from a fragrance named Pure and an all white bottle and everything. But the citrus here is a little bit different. It's kind of a creamy citrus. It's not quite as sharp or brisk. There's also orange blossom in here and tonka. It's kind of like a little bit of a clean soapiness to it, but not shower gel. Very well done, nice quality scent. And this one I think perfect for spring and fall. Okay, Davidoff is up next, and really you could pick a lot of different Davidoff fragrances for this list. Once again, they are traditionally very inexpensive from discounters, which that don't hurt. And a lot of their fragrances are just made with wearability in mind. They're easygoing scents for the most part. One we're talking about though is Cool Water Intense. Always gotta have an intense flanker. Mark it down right now, right here. In the future, Terra Nova Intense coming out. Have I started working on any flanker of Terra Nova? No, I have not. But maybe like 3 years from now, I don't know. If you buy this one, which is linked in the description of Michael Mullis' website, Gents Scents, get yourself 20% off. Alternatively, in every Perfumania and fragrance outlet store in the United States. So you can find them in those also. Back to the water, that is cool. And also intense. So this has amberwood, coconut nectar, and green mandarin, and it is pretty strong. It packs a punch. Off my skin, this stuff lasts forever. It's very strong in terms of projection. It's actually decently unique with that coconut there. It gives it a different kind of vibe versus most other men's designer fragrances. And it has a good compliment factor as well. There's a lot to like about this one, and I think it deserves being highlighted once again. When it came out, it did get a little bit of attention. People were interested in it, but as happens with most cool water flankers, you know, as the year wears on, people kind of forget about it. From there, let's hop over to Vince Camuto with Terra. So Vince Camuto is a house that, for me anyway, I've always viewed as kind of cheap. And I don't mean that, you know, to put the fragrance house down or anything like that, but just their presentations with like this very pleathery kind of wrap that they have oftentimes, it just feels cheap. That being said, it's not all bad. Actually, a lot of Camuto fragrances are very good for like day-to-day use. They get the job done. And as is kind of the theme to an extent here, they're not all that expensive. So this has citrus, sandalwood, tonka, and rhubarb as some of the notes in the fragrance. I'm a big fan of rhubarb. I think it's a really cool, underutilized note. And it smells actually vaguely similar to Versace Eros. Not a one-to-one with Eros, but one of those times where you would say, oh, it's in the same family, the same style as Eros. And so you have a scent here that is going to be able to get you through the day or the evening that has that compliment factor at a much lower price point. So it's a nice solid scent. Up next, the next fragrance on the docket from Kenneth Cole, Mankind Legacy. Kenneth Cole is one of those designers that pretty much everybody knows, but when it comes to fragrances, not too many people get hyped about Kenneth Cole. But when you start to delve into all the Kenneth Cole releases out there, there's actually a lot of them that for the price point are great pickups because Kenneth Cole fragrances not going to cost you that much. So Mankind Legacy, this is nothing insanely unique. And when I hear the name Mankind, think about the wrestler first. Mankind! And I don't think that's exactly the vibe that they're going for here. Mankind, yeah, I don't think so. But anyway, Mankind Legacy is a very clean kind of scent, airy, watery, fresh, with very pleasant, kind of sweet aromatics sprinkled throughout there. This one, spring through fall, daytime, office use. It's gonna have you smelling fantastic. Mankind Legacy, I feel like a great scent, especially for younger guys or people that don't wanna, spend a whole bunch, but they wanna smell classy. This will get that done for you. Next one is a fragrance that got hated on a bit when it came out. Just never really seemed to catch on in a huge way. And yet when you smell this thing, it has a lot in common with fragrances that are much bigger, much more successful. It is Kenzo Homme Eau de Parfum. So this has cardamom, sage, and vanilla. I think the bottle looks great. I really love the gradient here. I think it looks very modern, contemporary. It has similarities to some other, sweet aquatic bubblegum type of fragrances to an extent, but I think it's not overdone. I don't think it goes so far as to become a cloying fragrance unless you really over apply the stuff. It has great versatility, People love it. It's very easy going. It's a compliment puller. You can wear this to the office, daytime, nighttime, spring, summer, fall. I think you could pull it off during the winter if you wanted to. There's a lot to like about it, and yet kind of a flop. Next one is kind of weird. I'm just gonna be straightforward with you guys. It's not gonna work for everybody. Like most of these, just about anyone can pull them off pretty easy. But this one is gonna be a little more divisive, a little bit more strange to an extent. Not that it's like crazy weird or anything, but you'll see. It's from Trussardi. It's Reflesso Blue Vibe. Now here's the deal with Blue Vibe. If you know nothing about this and you hear Blue Vibe, you probably think, oh, blue fragrance, Dior Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, Versace Dylan Blue, Yves Saint Laurent Y, etc., etc. But it's kind of misleading to an extent because it actually has a lot of other things going on there. It has kind of a hazelnut vibe to it. It has Davana, it has rum, tobacco, it has leather, yuzu, just like big bunch of notes in there. So the first time I smelled it, I wasn't a huge fan. I put it back. I was like, meh. Came back much later and gave it a wear, and I was like, well, it's like making a little more sense to me now. It's kind of unique, doing its own thing a little bit. It has some throwbacks to maybe a couple other things in there, but I dig it. I dig it. So that one is gonna be more like a fall time fragrance, maybe winter, potentially early spring, daytime or nighttime, either one. And I think it's very cool in that it gives you a unique kind of scent profile, especially compared to most things out there, at a price point that's not that high, from a fragrance house that, frankly, in the US, basically nobody is wearing. So a lot of cool stuff with that one. Next up, we're going Lacoste Match Point Eau de Parfum. When it comes to Lacoste, for most people, it's going to be L1212, right? L1212 Blanc, most specifically, because they've knocked off like a million flankers of that bad boy, you know, just coming out constantly. And then also to an extent, Lacoste L'Homme. That was a really good line of fragrances, not that expensive from discounters. Lacoste L'Homme Intense, very good. Match Point, even though it's newer, not a huge amount of love for this one. But I do really enjoy it. Of course, you can tell by looking at the bottle, kind of a green flair to it. Makes use of gentian as one of the main notes in the fragrance, which is the note that kind of ties the whole Match Point line together. It's got a little herbal feel to it. It's classy, it's sophisticated, a good office fragrance, a nice casual fragrance as well. Might appeal the eau de parfum a little bit more to guys middle-aged and older, but I think it's a nice scent. Just a great day-to-day fragrance for spring. Last one, Paco Rabanne Black XS. This is the old bottle style. It does not come in this style anymore. The new style looks like this, kind of similar to the new XS style, the new Pure XS style. That's basically just the XS in general bottle now. So Black XS, this stuff is sweet, which you would expect that. It's from Paco Rabanne. Paco Rabanne is about that sweetness. We all know that. You know, it's one of those fragrances that might be a little bit love it or hate it. When I smell it, I like it a lot. I dig the sweetness here. I don't know, it's very Black XS. It's, you know, hard to say unless you were around like smelling it when it first came out, because it came out like 18 years ago, I think at this point. It's like a candy kind of sweetness. It's got praline, cinnamon, cardamom, some citrus in there off the top, and then black amber as it dries down in the base there. It's a fragrance that was used for a while as a clubbing scent, big popular clubbing scent, because it's strong and sweet, so got people's attention, and that's what people want in a clubbing scent. Then 1 Million came out, and 1 Million kind of took its lunch money, and Black XS was like banished to the shadow realm. But I still love it. And because it is nowhere remotely near as popular as it was when it came out, nowadays it's kind of an under the radar fragrance, hidden gem. Love Black XS, really, really dig that one. So there we go, 10 hidden gem fragrances, uncommon scents that deserve a little bit more love. Thank you all for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you again tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.